Welcome everyone to going through House of the Dragon. My name is Triple S, and in this video I'll be talking about the third episode of the first season, second of his name. I'll be going through what I like and dislike about the episode, what I feel it does better or worse compared to the source material, and also bring up anything I find interesting or noteworthy enough to mention. There might be spoilers for other media related to the Song of Ice and Fire series as well, so you've been warned. With all that said, let's begin. Right off the bat, we get a good look at Prince Kragus the Crab Feeder Jahar. He suffers from grayscale, which is spread to his face, forcing him to wear a mask of Giscari origin, which he apparently found in a shipwreck, and you might recognise as being similar to those worn by the Sons of the Harpy in Game of Thrones. This guy is just having a very bad day, attacked by the Triarchy, nailed by the Crab Feeder, and then crushed by Caraxes. Poor fucker. And this is why you don't land your dragon when archers are about, Daemon, you dumbass. Also, Caraxes seems to react to Daemon getting hit by an arrow, giving more evidence to believe that riders and their dragons are connected on a sort of psychic level. So it's been 3 years since the last episode, and Alicent has already had one kid with Viserys and is pregnant with another. Messed up my prediction of how this first season will be laid out, but I'll talk about that more at the end. So Hugh of the Vale? The seven hells you doing here? Oh no wait, that's Tyland
Fucking Lannister.
just being played by the same actor Jefferson Hall, and who has replaced Corlys as Master of Ships on Viserys' small council. Fire and Blood tells us that Viserys did actually support Daemon's fighting in the Stepstones against the Triarchy by supplying him with large sums of gold. He didn't just sit back, not wanting to get involved, under belief that if he did it would make him appear weak, which makes zero sense to me. What's with royalty and losing track of their kids these days? First Queen Breha and her husband Bael losing track of Princess Leia, and now Viserys not knowing where Rhaenyra is. Wow, Rhaenyra's really set up shop here at the Heart Tree. She's even got her own musician called Samwell. No, not that one, this guy, who she's having sing about Princess Nymeria and her 10,000 ships over and over. And apparently there might be another spin-off show based on Nymeria's travels with her 10,000 ships, so have these repeated mentions of her been put into House of the Dragon to try and drum up interest to get the show actually made? Looks like 3 years wasn't long enough for these two to mend the rift that formed between them when Viserys announced he was going to marry Alicent, and I'm sure Ali here giving birth to a son just made matters worse. Wait, Tyland has a twin?
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Careful there, Hobart. It's a good thing Viserys took your calling Aegon II of his name as a joke, because it's a big no-no to call someone else king when there already is one. And it's an even bigger no-no to imply Aegon will ascend to the throne and not Rhaenyra. The fate of the abducted Johanna Swan is mentioned in Fire and Blood. Her stingy uncle refuses to pay her Lyseni abductors the ransom for her, and she ends up being sold to a pillow house, where she rose to become the celebrated courtesan known as the Black Swan, and the ruler of Lys in all but name. Jason talking about his very big tower trying to impress Rhaenyra sounds more like he's just overcompensating for something. When Viserys says he's been drowning in a sea of parchment, I just imagine it being like Moist von Lipwig, drowning in a sea of letters and going postal. A white hart, you say? What a coinkydink that that's what King Robert Baratheon the first of his name goes out to hunt, only to find the deer dead from wolves. All the symbolisms. Rhaenyra should be known as the Dark Knight rather than the Realm's Delight with this disappearing act she pulls.
I hate it when he does that.
George R.R. Martin gets the full-on hunting scene he's always wanted and was denied in Game of Thrones due to budgetary reasons. I guess this facial expression is also something passed down through the Targaryen line. Even for the Targaryens, betrothing a 17-year-old to her 2-year-old brother is thankfully thought of as being beyond fucked up, as Viserys' reaction shows us. It's weird for me to hear Viserys use the word politicking when the only other time I've ever heard it said before is in the movie Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Do a little politicking?
Props to Kristen for keeping it real with Rhaenyra and telling her the hard truths that even if people don't like Rhaenyra being queen, they'll just have to suck it up and deal with it. If I were Kristen, I would have at least put on my helmet. You never know, it could mean the difference between life and death if something goes for his head. No way this bot is an ancestor of the one that gored King Robert. This weak-ass pig couldn't even kill a 17-year-old girl. This boar must have violently triggered Rhaenyra's hatred of them sounding like children. I hope she wasn't imagining it being her baby brother. Viserys got me thinking of when Dany stood before a giant fire, and I was genuinely wondering if he was going to walk in and then emerge naked. Wow, this is so unfair and shouldn't count as a successful hunting kill in my opinion. Poor deer didn't deserve that. Rhaenyra killing the boar counts more as a proper hunting kill than this shit. This reminds me of when Theon beheads Roderick in Game of Thrones. We see Ned behead Will the Night's Watch deserter in one clean swing, yet it takes Theon multiple swings and a kick to behead Roderick. Though Viserys taking multiple stabs to bring the deer down is probably more down to him being hungover, possibly even still drunk, rather than weakness as was the case for Theon. Of course the White Hart appears before Rhaenyra. You know, I'm having deja vu of seeing another deer appear before a royal. So the guy next to Larry's Clubfoot Strong here skinning a rabbit is apparently his brother Harwin Breakbone Strong. You know, the person Viserys wrongly guessed his master-of-laws Lionel Strong was going to suggest as being a good marriage candidate for Rhaenyra. He actually seems quite respectful of Rhaenyra being covered in blood. Like bus drivers saying hi to each other when they pass on the road, it's almost as if he wants to shout, "Hail, fellow hunter." What an explicit ass painting this is behind Alicent. A woman getting dicked whilst grabbing another dude's dick, who's in turn getting a dick in his ass. What the dick? The realm would tear itself apart if Rhaenyra sat on the Iron Throne instead of Aegon. Can you think of any other reason for why the realm would tear itself apart? Like if, I don't know, Aegon sat on the throne instead of Rhaenyra, which she would not be too happy about? Sounds like a lose-lose situation for the realm to me. So Viserys didn't lose just one finger, but two fingers thanks to the cut from the Iron Throne. Still wondering what the cut on his back is like all these years later. Oh, whoops, they forgot to green screen Viserys' fingers out in this scene. At least it's just a blinking you'll miss it thing. Good on Viserys for admitting he has his flaws and remarried out of love rather than for the good of the realm like he kept telling Rhaenyra he had to do, instead of trying to come up with a reason as to why marrying Alicent was better than marrying Laena for everyone. It seems Viserys has mostly learnt his lesson. He took away his wife's choice and lost both her and his son forever, but now to not lose his daughter, he's allowing her to choose herself. I mean, she still has to get married, no ifs, ands or buts about that, but at least she now gets to pick who. I'm sure Viserys will want to have the final say on who Rhaenyra marries, like they must have their own version of the Royal Marriages Act of 1772, as we do here in Britain, to guard against bad marriages that could negatively affect the royal family, because if they don't, Viserys is taking a big gamble here letting Rhaenyra choose herself. Laenor grew up fast if he was supposed to be 11, 1 year younger than Laena 3 years ago. Until I hear otherwise, I really do think Laenor was actually Corlys and Rhaenys' firstborn child instead of Laena. Daemon did once beat the ever-loving shit out of a messenger, but it wasn't this one. It was the messenger that informed Daemon, who was at Runestone at the time, that Viserys had chosen to marry Alicent Hightower, effectively ruining Daemon's chances of ever being heir if she gave birth to a son. This time, however, Daemon's pissed because he's doing this war with Corlys to prove himself in the eyes of the realm, so being aided by his brother would obviously ruin that. Get the fuck out. Daemon has to be the luckiest man to have ever been born to not get hit by an arrow for as long as he does, and also to not get outmatched by any of the men who attack him one at a time. And we get our first look at the dragon Seasmoke, Mount of Laenor, who, though obviously not being a pure-blood Targaryen, does still have the blood of the dragon within him, which allows him to ride a dragon. I like Laenor and Seasmoke pull the Nazgul and Felbeast move of smacking into people with the dragon's feet, picking them up and dropping them from high up. Daemon, I wouldn't be touching the crab feeder's bare skin with my bare skin if I were you. You do realise he has grayscale, right? And that's the end of the Crab Feeder, and of my prediction that the first 5 episodes of the season will deal with the War for the Stepstones, and the last 5 would actually start setting up the Dance of the Dragons, with Alicent having kids after the major time skip. Daemon ends up covered in blood from killing Drahar, just as Rhaenyra did from killing the boar. The symmetry! So, those are all my thoughts on the 3rd episode of the 1st season of House of the Dragon, 2nd of his name. If you think I missed anything important or interesting, put it in a comment below along with your own thoughts on the episode. My most liked part of the episode goes to Matt Smith as Daemon in the final scenes. No dialogue needed from him to amazingly get across everything Daemon is feeling when he gets a letter from his brother and when he fake surrenders to the Crab Feeder. Matt Smith is just great. And my most disliked part of the episode goes to the poor guy at the beginning who got crushed by Caraxes. He deserved to die like that less than the way the deer Viserys quote-unquote hunted did. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any advice on what I could do better for the next video, please leave it in a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and follow me on Twitter at @SSS_YouTube. I'm also on Odyssey at @SSS:83, so follow me on there if that's how you prefer to watch videos. Thank you again for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.